Hey, what's up? It's Epsilon here. I've been researching this book right here called Recording Connection. You can see. A friend of mine gave this to me. He took classes on studio recording and stuff like that, and got his degree in it. But he just gave me these books so I can. I was just reading it and I was looking at the microphone section. There's a lot to it. There's a lot about the mixer, how to use a mixer, a lot about signal flow and like how audio signals and digital audio signals are working and stuff. But this video is going to be about the microphone. And as you can see, I have a microphone here. You're going to hear some noise, but so there's a condenser microphone right here with a pop screen, pop filter, pop shield, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so this microphone is a condenser microphone, which is used to record instruments or voice in a studio setting. This is not meant for on-stage performance. All right, on-stage performance, you want to use something that looks like this, which is a dynamic microphone. It has its own on-off switch on the microphone, and you can this can withstand louder volumes, and it's not as sensitive, so it doesn't pick up noise from across the room. It only picks up the noise that you're saying directly into it. So that's dynamic, and this is condenser. So if I snap or if I do things, you're gonna hear it come through on this condenser because it's super sensitive. Like over here, I'm snapping like back there, all right, etc. So it's gonna pick that noise up, and you're gonna hear it. These microphones have different patterns to them. Okay, so I'm just gonna use Google to show you like examples. But there's a cardioid pattern. There's an Omnisphere pattern. There's like even a shotgun kind of pattern. But for the most part, cardioid pattern microphone. If you look this up, I spelled it wrong, but there'll be some pictures of what that looks like. So, for example, this is what it looks like. All right, that's coming around the microphone. Okay, this is a good like three-dimensional picture. But what you're looking at here is basically what the area that the microphone is picking up audio from, or the sound from. And most microphones are cardioid for condenser and stuff. So it still will pick up sound that comes behind it. If you look here, if sound comes from behind this microphone, it still will pick it up, but it'll be dropped by about like 10 to 20 decibel units, dBUs. So most of the sound is going to come into it from the front, where the cardioid, it's supposed to be like a heart shape, like cardio for heart. So it's supposed to be like a heart shape. Now there are also Omnisphere. You'll notice there's a fan on my computer, and you're probably hearing the fan run, so I'm sorry about that. But there's also an Omnisphere which picks up sound from the front and the back, but I don't know about the sides. So let's go ahead and do Omnisphere microphone pattern, and let's look at these images. Damn it, it's gonna find that stupid VST. I don't know if any show up here. It's in the book. It's basically gonna pick up sound from the front and back. Let's see if it gets this one. It might not. Shotgun microphone back. Yeah, see, here's the shotgun one. So this is what this one looks like, and it's going to pick up sound in a certain way. All right, so the microphone's here in the center. It's going to pick up sound mostly in the front of it, also in the back of it, and then on the sides, right and left. Okay, but most of it's going to be in the front. So you can situate your performers or your musicians in such a way that their audio is recorded using the microphone that you're using, to optimize one microphone for the most optimization, essentially. So this is a shotgun pattern. As you can tell, here's the Omnisphere. It picks up everything. It's just a giant circle. It's like a circle microphone that just picks up everything in a sphere. You got the cardioid, like I showed you before. You got the bicardioid, or the bisphere. This is bisphere here that picks up front and back, and then the shotgun one over here. So that's how the microphone picks up sound using a condenser microphone. So you can use microphones in the studio to record musicians, but you're gonna have to go through like a lot of takes. You're gonna have to get used to the fact that you'll have to do a lot of takes, and just to get the track right. All right, if a musician's recording a part of a song, typically you're not going to record the whole song one time through. You're going to kind of like go to each part of the song and just record it in takes. And you also want to try to mic each instrument separately, if it requires a microphone. With new digital audio and stuff, you can connect like electric instruments directly into the interface, so you don't need a microphone to pick up electric guitar or to pick up any electric instruments, because their cables, their signal, the signal flow goes directly into the interface, which is really useful. But for like acoustic guitars, for horns, trumpets and stuff, you need to mic them if you want to get them recorded, and you want to mic each instrument separately so that you have that instrument recorded on a separate track in the mixer. I can show you an FL Studio, but I'm just going to show you right here. Mixer. Let's just do Cubase. Mixer and Cubase. Let's see if that. Yeah, so here's an example of a mixer using a software called Cubase. So in the old days, they had those long soundboards, I guess you'd call them, the mixers, with all the things on them. There's a picture with John Lennon behind one. But this is like a virtual version of that, which basically each of these tracks here is one instrument. So you're gonna have like the guitar 2, bass, drum. But on the drum, you're gonna mic each, because a drum, you gotta think about it. It has a lot of instruments. All right, the tom drum is different than the snare drum, and the kick drum is different than the crash or whatever, hi-hat. So you have to mic as many of those individually as possible. So you got little clip-on mics that you can get, and then I think and get those drum sounds. So now you'll have the snare on just one of these tracks that you can add effects to and level it out in the mix. So in your overall mix, which includes all of these, you're going to have, you're able to work with it a lot more, because each instrument or each sound, whether it's a snare hit or whether it's a tom hit or a hi-hat or a kick drum or a guitar or a vocal track with a microphone, each one is laid out on a separate track. So you're able to adjust the volume, you're able to add effects to them individually, and then make the whole mix, which is the whole song, sound better as a whole piece of music. All right, so you got to mic each thing, and you also want to try to understand the placement of the microphone. Where does the microphone go? And a good rule of thumb for that is to place the microphone twice the distance of the instrument. Okay, so for a vocal track, you got to think your mouth is like maybe that big, so the microphone should be twice that distance, that far to maybe like a foot. All right, you can be pretty far away from a microphone, and you can adjust the pop filter to just kind of keep the singer or the rapper or the vocal artist not up into the microphone's grill, so it doesn't overload the microphone. So a good thing is to put the pop filter like back away from it, so they can't, when they're talking, they can't like shove their face into the microphone. No matter how close they get to the filter, it stops them. But for like a trumpet, if you want to record a trumpet or some kind of horn or a woodwind instrument, like a clarinet, bassoon, any of those instruments, you have to basically think, if a trumpet is this big, you're going to want to place the microphone twice that distance. So the microphone is going to be from the bell, all right, from the point of ejection where the sound is coming out of the instrument, twice the distance of the instrument from the bell of the instrument. So if a trumpet, is this big, you got to put the microphone at least like, so far away. If a trumpet is 2 feet, 2.5 feet, you got to get the microphone at least 4 to 5 feet away from the actual thing, or else you're going to definitely overload the shit out of the microphone. Imagine just blowing a trumpet into a microphone. The sound's going to be distorted. And yeah, I'm actually getting one of those Tromba C trumpets. It's a shorter trumpet it's a higher pitch in C, but I'm gonna get one of those tomorrow. So I'm gonna test that out with a microphone and show you all how to set up recording for like horns, brass instruments, stuff like that. So a good rule of thumb is make sure it's twice the distance of the instrument. And if you have multiple players, you just add on the distance, or it's the same. You don't add it on, but it's the same for if you have two trumpet players. The trumpet players should be 5 feet apart, and the microphone should be 5 feet apart from them, centered. So, they're picking up the sound from that microphone. For tubas and stuff like that, where the horns are facing up, you're gonna have to do the same thing, but you're gonna have to get the microphone up in the air. So, if you have a stand, you'll notice that you can adjust the stand and prop it up. So you're gonna want to get the microphone up in the air above the instrument, like a tuba. So miking a trumpet, you can see a quick demonstration of this, like that. All right, yeah, I was 4 to 6 feet. Pretty good, man. I just made that up, but yeah, you want the microphone to be 4 to 6 feet away from the horn or from the bell. All right, because a trumpet is probably 2 feet, 2.5, 2 to 2.5 feet, and then you got to double that distance for the microphone. So like that. For condenser microphones, they're really sensitive, like I said, so they'll pick them up. All right, and then so basically you'll get that trumpet recording, you'll get that into a mixer track, mixer soundboard. So like I said earlier, the one from Cubase, but so now that trumpet is now going to be on one of these tracks. All right, one volume thing is where that trumpet lies. If you're using software like Pro Tools Mixer, it'll look like this. You'll have this going on. All right, so once again, it's just one thing. You'll have that trumpet recording right here on that one mixer track, and then you're able to adjust the volume levels, add effects to that thing individually, that one recording. And then you might have a saxophone on number 2, and then you might have a clarinet on 3, French horn, baritone, bassoon down the line, etc. down the mixer. Okay, so that's a pretty big overview. Not yet, Siri. I'm not done yet. One sec. She wants to talk, but I'm busy. So that's a pretty big overview of what microphones can do from the cardioid pattern, or whether it's an Omnisphere recording pattern. You got to figure that out. Cardioids are probably the most used ones, because you want to pick up the sound in front of it. But then again, you got to think about it. If you have like a lot of trumpets or something, like an Omnisphere, you might, if you want to get like the crowd, if you want to hear the crowd, you could put an Omnisphere microphone in the crowd that picks up, people all over the place. So where the sound technician or where the audio engineer is, they're usually back in the audience, in the crowd. There can be an Omnisphere microphone stationed with him that's just picking up the crowd, and then he can have it, like he could bring it in at certain times during the show. So the recording of the show has the live performance, but then also the crowd cheering when a song is done or something, So he has that recording done, stuff like that. So I hope this was helpful with a microphone setup. Once again, my name's Epsilon144. I do mostly all my own studio work here in my own studio. I'm a producer. I make electronic music. I'm a musician and producer. I make electronic music and production for electronic music. If you want help with any of your production or music, you can visit my website. I have tutorial videos there, or you can just contact me. There's a contact form there, or drop a link in the comments below, and we'll get in contact, and we'll help enhance the music community, because music is awesome. All right, so thank you for your time. Have a great day. Take care.